Cruelty against women. In the quiet, sun-soaked village of Isika, nestled in the heart of Africa, there once reigned a mighty king. His people were prosperous, and his household was blessed with many wives but only 3 sons. These sons, Obiora, Daikioma, and Ulana, were as close as brothers could be. Their bond was unbreakable, each brother willing to stand as a shield for the others. Obiora, the oldest at 55, was the rightful heir, known across the land as a fierce warrior. Daikioma was strong and wise at 47, and Ulana, the youngest at 35, was their heart and the village's hope for the future. Obiora had married a beautiful woman named Ezioma, chosen from a neighboring village. The couple had no children, but their love was steadfast, and the village looked forward to the day they would be blessed with an heir. Life continued peacefully in Isika until the shadow of war arrived. When the village of Ejekba declared war on Isika, the king had no choice but to call upon his warriors. Obiora, with his brother Daikioma, led the charge, each vowing to protect Isika with their lives. The war dragged on for years, and although the warriors fought bravely, Isika's losses were great. Finally, the war ended, but at a price that left a permanent scar on the village. Obiora, the king's beloved firstborn, did not return. The village mourned deeply. They waited with the faint hope that perhaps Obiora would come back one day. Days passed into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years, but Obiora was gone. The people had no choice but to move forward. In the absence of the heir, tradition dictated that Ezioma should be wed to Obiora's youngest brother, Ulana, to preserve the family line. With the village elder's blessing, Ulana took Ezioma as his wife. Soon, Ezioma was pregnant, filling the palace with a bittersweet joy. She was to bring new life, even as they honored the memory of Obiora. 5 long years passed, and the people of Isika had accepted the tragedy of Obiora's death. Then, one ordinary market day, a familiar figure was seen at the village square, a man with the strength and presence of Obiora. Whispers and gasps followed him as he walked through the crowd. Was it a ghost? A trick of the eye? But no, it was him. Obiora had returned. The news reached the palace, and a celebration brewed as his family ran to greet him. Ezioma, pregnant with Ulana's child, was overjoyed. She hurried to embrace her long-lost husband, but Obiora pulled back, his face hard and unyielding. "Who is responsible for this?" he spat, his eyes on her rounded belly. Ezioma, shocked, stammered, "It was your brother, Ulana. We followed tradition. I thought you were gone." Obiora's face twisted with fury. He stormed into the palace, and before anyone could reason with him, he called for Ulana. Ulana arrived, eager to embrace his brother. But as he extended his arms, Obiora drew his sword. The villagers gasped as Obiora, without a word, plunged his weapon into Ulana's chest. The king, who had been watching from his seat, staggered, clutching his heart in disbelief. The curse, it seemed, had already begun to unfold. Obiora, trembling with rage and grief, turned his sword on himself, ending his life beside his brother's lifeless body. The king fell to his knees, his mind reeling. His sons were gone, and his world lay shattered at his feet. In his grief, the king rose, his voice strong despite his sorrow. "Today," he decreed, "no woman of Isika, married to a man still living, shall betray him by lying with another. Any woman who does so will face madness or death, and any man who forces a married woman into his bed will be banished, spared only by the gods." The villagers shuddered as the king continued. "If any woman wishes to break this curse, she must confess before the entire village, dancing naked in the market square for 7 days. Only then shall she be forgiven, and her husband shall neither share her bed nor eat food from her hands until the ritual is complete." His voice echoed across the square, and the curse of Isika was born. The curse became law, and from that day, no woman in Isika dared to cross it. It was whispered that even those who ventured far from Isika carried the curse with them, as if the spirits of the king and his sons watched over them still. Generations passed, and no one could break the curse, for any attempt to remove it met with mysterious misfortunes. In the shadows of Isika, the story of the king and his sons lives on. The villagers, carrying their burdens in silence, know that tradition binds them, and the curse lingers, as potent as ever, a warning from the past that no one dares to defy. This tragic tale of the village of Isika, with its powerful themes of love, loyalty, and betrayal, holds many moral lessons. Here are some of the key insights. The consequences of jealousy and rage. Obiora's anger and unwillingness to understand or forgive led to a tragic series of events that affected not only his family, but generations to come. The story teaches that unchecked jealousy and anger can destroy relationships and create lasting damage. The fragility of bonds. The brothers had an unbreakable bond, but it was tested by circumstances beyond their control. This reminds us that even the closest relationships need constant nurturing and understanding, and they can be shattered when pride or anger take hold. The weight of decrees and judgments. The king's hasty decree, made in a moment of grief and shock, bound generations of women to an oppressive fate. The story teaches that impulsive decisions, especially those made in anger, can have lasting, unintended consequences that affect countless lives. Forgiveness and understanding as pathways to healing. If Obiora had given Ezioma and Uluna a chance to explain, tragedy might have been averted. This lesson underscores the importance of seeking understanding and forgiving one another, even in difficult situations, to foster peace and avoid unnecessary pain. Justice and equality in relationships. The king's decree disproportionately punishes women, while men's transgressions are met with lesser consequences. This highlights the moral lesson that true justice requires fairness and equality, without favoritism based on gender or status. Responsibility of leadership. As a king, the ruler's actions had a direct impact on his people. His failure to moderate his grief and make a wise, just decision is a reminder that those in leadership positions must consider the well-being of all their subjects and act responsibly, as their decrees can become enduring laws that affect future generations. The tale of Asika teaches that respect, understanding, patience, and empathy are crucial in resolving conflicts and building lasting peace within families and communities. Thank you for watching. Press the notification bell for more videos, like, comment, and subscribe.